What is up, guys? It is Ever back with another video, and today I thought I would jump in and go over how I made Monday's video. Thought that would be good content, you know, kind of break down what I did. And to people who are like, oh, I already know how to do this, or I've done this before, it's not for you. You know, generally this is just kind of my process on how I did it and learn from it, and what I'm learning from doing these edits just by doing it and things like that. And funny enough, I didn't find the original video that inspired this kind of clip. The original video, I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if it was on Facebook or if it was somewhere else, but it was a guy in the gym, and he had more space, and he had kind of like, and you know what, to be fair, I don't think I saved it. I think I just saw it, thought about saving it, and I don't think I saved it. But anyways, he was in 4 different parts of the gym doing, you know, different tasks. It was a cool effect, but he added, you know, the little different effects probably to it, and so to make it more dynamic. But I thought, you know what, let me give it a shot. Let me see what I can do. And so what I did originally, I have 2 videos. I have a blank background where I didn't move the, and what I mean by blank background is it's literally, oh, sorry, no, not this one. It's literally just my bedroom. My bedroom being my bedroom by itself. Tried not to move anything, even like the pillows or anything. I didn't move anything, left it alone. The only thing I was worried about was like on the whiteboard what was written on it, but I'm like, you can hardly see it. Funny enough, I wrote the clone effect, and then as I was writing, I just put, I do not know, I just put something like, I don't know what to write, but here's the, and then I like did an arrow, the clone effect or something like that, and it was kind of silly, but I'm like, you can't even read it, so it kind of helped me pretend to be writing and things. And so this is like the stage. Think of the stage, I guess, in a way, where you have a blank background. And essentially what you want is to have, and I don't know if you need this, you know, leave it in the comment if that's a step that I can skip, but I figured I should have something to kind of have the background so my the other videos can kind of line up. And I don't think you necessarily need it. What you could do is use essentially like a certain part of a clip, or if anything, like have yourself do one pose or so. Like me reading the book was like the longest pose I did, and so I used that as the main pose, and then all the other ones I kind of just added on as like 15-second. Like the thing is that you have to think about when you make this short, and what I'm learning too is every small detail counts. You have to think about the timeline, right? And so for example, as each effect happens, each clone happens, each clone is on screen for shorter time, right? And so you have the background, then you have the first effect or whatever, which is me reading the book, and I keep saying effect, but I mean the clone. The first clone, which is me reading the book. Let's say, for example, the whole video is about a minute long, I think. Yeah, it's about a minute and like 7 seconds. So let's say it's about a minute long, right? As you're playing, I pop in, reading a book, okay? Let's say I have the 15-minute mark. That means at the 30-minute mark, my computer self comes in. Then at the other marks, I have me writing that on the whiteboard, and then me in the restroom. When filming, and this is where I feel writing everything down, storyboarding, doing all these things comes in handy, because it allows you to see everything. And then these details, obviously, to some people would be obvious, but for people who are learning, this is a great learning like point, is you have to think about the 15 seconds, or like when you pop in, the first effect is going to be the longest, second effect is going to be shorter, and then so on and so forth, because that video is going to end, right? And so let's kind of play the original video. The original video. So I actually used, so what's funny enough is I did use it, because I can show you guys the background. So as you can see, this is the background by itself, and then this is me in the book. As you can see, this is and I kind of did this part because I don't know what happened, but this cut was still there, and I'm like, why is that still there? And then I saw what the end looked like, and I'm like, it looks kind of cool, and so I like left it in there. And so I have the blank right here, and then I have me in the book here. As you can see, timeline wise, it's the same length. So if we take away all of the clones, and I'm like turning them off so you don't see anything, when I play it, it's just going to be me in the book, right? And so that's the first step. And I'll show you guys what I did with the effects and how I did the cloning effect. And I still don't fully understand it enough to explain it well, so hopefully I'll try. And so I do apologize if I fail in explaining it well, but I'll do my best to try, because I still am learning on where to place the effect, and I'll show you right now. And then the first effect is, I believe, me in the computer. And so as you can see here, I pop in, and then I'm on the computer, and then I decided to make it like them disappear, which was a cool idea. And so I thought, you know what, let me have them come in and then come out. I think that was like a good transition, and so I did that. And so I kind of pop it out, and then did that. The reason I did these two the same is because that's where I messed up. Like I mentioned, if I would have done this correctly, I would have had blank, right? This come in maybe here, this, and it would look like a staircase, right? And it would all have ended right here if I would have done it correctly, or they would have all ended like here, and then they all pop away or whatever. If I wanted them to come in and out, and so it would kind of look like a stair, because the first effect's longer, and yada yada, kind of explained. But I messed up on the recording. When I recorded, and this is how I recorded it, guys. I literally recorded 5 minutes of me straight, and I just was in one spot for a couple of seconds, or even a minute or so, and then I moved on to the next spot. And so let's see if I can. I always forget how to do this. Here we go. There we go. So the book, I was there for the book for the longest, and then I went to and then I literally would get up and walk. I kind of went back to the camera to check where I'm standing, yada yada, and go to the restroom, I think at the end. Yeah, and I literally walked into the restroom. The restroom was the shortest time frame or whatever. And so what happened was, these two effects were unfortunately about the same length. Like I couldn't get them. Like it would have been, I think, like the restroom was like a couple of seconds, which, okay, I mean, that would have been fine. But I was like, you know what? Let me just make it the same. Let me have them pop in at the same time and then pop out at the same time. And so that's what I did. Okay, so that's how I kind of recorded. Well, first and foremost, what I did step by step, and what I should start doing is probably recording my process while doing it, and just kind of do a voiceover and kind of explain what I'm doing and things like that. And you will see in like live, like action, like how I'm like making mistakes and stuff and like learning. And so what I did essentially is I added this to the timeline, and I cut out all the movements that I didn't want, and I just first made each clone, and then from there I essentially shortened it to where it would fit the timeline on how I wanted it, and kind of played with it. Ended up with, you know, the book being the longest, so I kind of let that be in, and then did this the computer, and then I did the writing, and then the restroom. Now, yes, and that's where I was going to show you guys. So you do need a background, and so that's what I was going to confirm with, because I wasn't 100% sure, and we're learning together. So you do need a background, and so anytime you do any type of effect, I would say, just to be safe, have wherever you're doing that effect by itself, wherever you're doing it, whether it's a park or whatever, and just make sure it stays the same angle, and then you do the effect, because generally the effect will be stationary unless you're using After Effects or whatever, but this is kind of just basic effects. And then, and as you guys can see, what I did essentially in each clip, don't know what's going on here. Okay, there we go. In each clip, I have a mask. So what a mask is, as you guys can see here, where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Okay. So I have a mask, and I did a brush. I don't know why it's saying star. I did a brush. And so, really quick, what a mask is essentially is you layer. So think of it as like, I would say like a pizza, to be honest. I'm kind of like, I'm honestly spitballing here because I could be doing really bad analogies and I apologize. But I would say a pizza, right? Because you have your bread and then you got your little toppings on top. Essentially, this is the base, right? And then, so let me remove the background. What happens when I remove the background? You see how everything disappears, right? So what a mask is, it essentially takes a piece of a video, removes everything else, and keeps that part of the video in frame. And the mask has been one of the main effects that I've been using for a lot of the videos I've done. The masks was the pouring of the tea video, and then I can't think off the top of my head what other videos I've used mask on, but I've been noticing that mask is a very, very creative tool, and you can do almost a lot of things with it. You know, you can clone yourself, you can have yourself come in and out, things like that. And so I know there's a lot of applications you can use mask for, and so essentially that's what this is. And so the first mask, as you can see, I kind of had to do this, and that's why you want a blank background, because you want something for your toppings to be on top of it. That makes sense. And so that's where you would want, and this is the basic for the clone effect. And on each one, I mean, if you can, actually I could probably just show you this, and then I can show you each one how they look, the clone effect. And this is where it's kind of weird, because yeah, each clone effect is different, right? So I think I just did, I don't think I added a clone effect for this one, which was funny. Or not a clone effect, I'm sorry, a mask. This one doesn't have a mask, which is interesting. I think because it just fit into the frame, and so I just left it alone. And so, oh, because it's not, I don't know why it doesn't need a mask, to be honest. Actually, no, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Actually, that's a thing I'm gonna have to dive into, because everything else is layered on top. It's weird. So what's actually funny enough, I'm gonna show you guys real quick on this one. So each one has a different shape. The reason this one has, you can kind of see it right here. If you really look into my video, watch my video again, there's different shades of lighting effect. I think what I did wrong when recording this is I accidentally put it on automatic. And so when I walked into the restroom, the ISO or something changed. And so everything else got like darker or lighter. And you could, for this one, you could really tell, for some reason, you could tell that it was like, I had a little like circle here, and you could tell, like right here, you could tell hardcore. And so what I did is I just added everything else, and for some reason that really fixed it. And I don't know if you can see it anywhere else, maybe when it first pops in, but no, like I really got rid of it. And funny enough too, if you notice me writing, I move to the left, right, of frame. And originally my shadow was getting cut off, and there was a bunch of stuff. And so what I had to do, and this is another effect that I use, that generally you use for effects, is called a keyframe. And what a keyframe is, you can essentially do any type of effect, and then you have it. How do I explain a keyframe? A keyframe is actually interesting, because essentially a keyframe is you have an action and you want it to either continue that action or change positions or just change some attribute of that action later in the video. And so the easiest one was in my movie review. The way I had it fade in and out was the opacity. I literally did a keyframe when the picture came in. I did four keyframes, I think. I did a keyframe when it came in, and then, or I did a keyframe in the beginning with full opacity, and then a keyframe like a couple seconds in, where it went to, oh, I'm sorry, no, it was the opposite. So 0 opacity, so it was see-through, so it was transparent, it wasn't there. And then in the middle, I made it 100% so you could see it, so it would fade in. And then on the back end, you have to put another one where it's full. A couple seconds later, you put another keyframe, and then at the end, put the fourth keyframe, and then that one you go to 0. and so that way it would just disappear. And so that's what a keyframe does. For this video, let me show you guys. It was the position of the mask, and so I can show you real quick. Get rid of the background. There we go. Let me get rid of this. No, not this one. This guy. Oops, not that one. There we go. Okay, so watch this. So as I'm writing, I believe you're gonna. Was it this one? Yes, there it is. So that's a keyframe, and I know it's weird, and it's, I mean, not weird, but it's like, okay, what does that mean? So what I did, and if we want to click on keyframe, there's probably an easier way to do this, which is fine, but I'm wondering why it doesn't show. Oh, there it is. It shows it right here. So these little dots right here, those are the keyframes. And so essentially what it is if you can see here, over here, it's going to show you something. It's going to show you where the keyframes. So right here is adding keyframes. Add a keyframe, add a keyframe. Because all of these are different settings, right? Or different, different settings or like effects of this mask, right? And so I added a keyframe where the position was right here. And the new keyframe had it move a little bit to the left, right? And this position changed, and then the same thing here, right, on the third one. The reason I did that was because, as you can tell, with this first one, my shadow was getting cut off. Like, because what happens is when it's on the bread, or like the main, the blank canvas, it's going to get cut off because that mask, think of it as a window. Mask is a window to another video. That's actually a really good way to put it. It's a window, so you can see it, and you'll get cut off. And so the keyframe is good to adjust things. As you can see, you can rotate it. So I could have this spin. You can make it bigger, so the size of the mask would have gotten a different size. And so keyframes can do it, and you can do a lot of things with keyframes. I mean, anything from like audio to the speed to animations. Like the keyframe can, hold on, I don't want to go all the way that far, but I know keyframes, you can add a bunch of effects, or like different effects or different things, tools that you use, whether it's speed, whether it's audio changes, or the mask. You can add keyframes to essentially fix the effect if you need it to be changed, if you need it to be following the subject. Like for example, if I was moving within the frame and having to essentially have my mask follow me the whole time, that's how you would probably do that, is have the keyframe where you would be changing the position and keep the window on your main subject. Excuse me. Okay, and so that was basically the effect. And so excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's see here. And so that was basically the effect. And so now placement. Let's talk about placement, because placement is very important. Like I said, this was essentially like breading. You want the toppings to be on top of the blank canvas. And so I had the blank canvas here, and you essentially have, especially when there's a mask. If there's a mask, you want a blank canvas, because to do a mask effectively, you need somewhere for it to be on. And it doesn't really need to be blank. Essentially, what I could have done is probably made this effect, like maybe this one, the main one, and just have that one run the whole time, and then have me come in different spots, and then just have that one be the whole thing. And then no mask here, but a mask there. Whatever has a mask needs to be on top. And so all of these effects had to be on top of each other. And so like if I were to move this one over here, you see how it's still there, but if I were to move it under here, let me see, under here, it disappears, right? Because the window is underneath the foundation, and so you can't really see it. But if I put it up, it returns to its original spot. And so, and that's essentially what you want to do is, and it doesn't have to be in a specific order, I don't think. trying to see where. Yeah, and so generally speaking, you don't have to have it. Sorry, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper and get kind of burpy with it, and I did not want to burp again on mic. I do apologize. So, anyways, the positioning of all of these doesn't matter, I don't think, unless the mask touches a certain part of another mask, maybe, or anything like that. But generally, if it's on the blank canvas, you're good. And so, see how I moved here, and it doesn't do anything there. And so it should still have the same effects where it pops in. Yeah, so I still pop in. So I still pop in there. And then, so if you want to have it clean cut, what you could do is just, you know, have this over here. And then here, I may actually, yeah, and that's what I was thinking. There may have been a reason why I had it that certain way. And so, and actually that's right, because of this one. And so, not this one, this one. So this one probably needs to be under here for it to continue. Yeah, there we go. For some reason, and I don't know why, and I do apologize, I wish I could explain it. I don't know why I didn't choose to do a mask here on this one. And I'm hold the phone. Just realized that I disappear in the bed. Yeah, so it does have to be in a certain order position. I am sorry, guys. You are seeing me fail at teaching. So hold on, let me see. Now let's try to figure out together why that happens, right? And so I'm assuming because, you know what? Yes, because this again, right? This one, if we remove the background, this one. There's a background here. Right here. This one. No. I keep forgetting which one. This one. This one also has a background. Right? So if this one had a mask, I would have masked myself. It would have been different. And I think the reason I didn't do a mask was because the mask was right here and it was already kind of cutting here. And I think I just left it alone. And so the blank, this video is on top of this one. And so it doesn't, and again, there's no different position, and so that's why it doesn't change much, right? And so so generally you could so funny enough, now that I think about it, in theory, in this video, what I could have done probably is done a horizontal split. I could have done it here and just left this one on here. This here, I probably could have done a split here. And then here on these ones, since they come in at the same time, I could have just done masks here and then just left that one alone. So just you can always play with it. And so, and I mean, that's the clone effect, essentially. I mean, you want to clone yourself, you can always just kind of play with it and just figure out what you want to do with it, what you want to do with the effect, and just play around, guys. Honestly, like, I'm still learning. Obviously, I am kind of failing at teaching you guys, but hopefully that makes sense. I can show you guys essentially real quick. Let me see. A really quick process of what I did to begin with. And so let's say we add, let's do this real quick. What I can do is I can show you guys what I did here. So let's cut this here, right? So we cut, we look to where we move. So that's where I move, right? Okay, so I'm cut right here. That's where I did it. So right here. Right here I sit. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it right here. Right, we're gonna cut it right here. Bam. I'm gonna get rid of this. So this is the chair. This is me being in the chair. And then we'll go over here, me being in the book. So get to a position where I'm gonna kind of pop in. Okay, right here. So I'm gonna do that right there, this section there. And so I'm gonna do this, and then so right here is cut to delete. So you delete left, and so cut, and it deletes the left side. we're just gonna do a little bit of this. We're just gonna show this effect. So I'm gonna cut it here. I'm just gonna delete everything else. And so we're just gonna do really quick a mask here, right? And so what we would do is split, or not split, sorry, stack it on top of each other. Have these effects, oh no, not this one, right here. And we're gonna line it up. This one we're gonna turn, not this one will turn invisible. No, this one will turn invisible. This one we will not. Right here. Okay, so we're gonna cut it here. And so what I'm gonna do is, that one's highlighted, we'll cut to the left. Okay, so now we're just paying attention to these two, right? And so if I wanted to do a clone effect, what I could do, essentially, is, now this is where it gets, I want to say difficult, but you could do a basic clone effect where you want you want the video to be playing at the same time. What you could do is do this, split, right? And then you try to get it even, and then just have it right there. And from right there, we literally just, there it is. Now look at that, right? You see this split here? This is what I found the hard way, where I feel like my settings were just off, right? And so I would say be careful with your settings. I think me being in front of this computer, my ISO dropped a little bit because I'm covering this light, and when I walked away, it kind of adjusted again, and that's why there's a difference. And so that's what I didn't like about that, and so that's why I did close masks, so you can hardly see it. So if I were to do, oh my god, dude, I hate it when that happens. Okay, so if I were to do, let's go to the mask again and go here. So if I were to do, like, let's say the pen, and we would so this one, and then mask this one, or not the mask, but the brush. Let's do the brush, and we would mask all of this. So the brush is really cool because you could essentially make a window of just whatever you want, like specific things, and it processes it, and it will do that, right? And what you can do is leave it alone, make that the window. And so right here, so this is the only thing that I don't like, is this. There we go. And so it's processing, right? Now, again, so now let's look at the, probably have to put this on top. What is it doing, dude? Come on. Thank you. Oh, let me see, it's still processing. We'll let it load real quick. Okay. And so, why is it still not showing the? This is me in the bed, right? Did I grab the wrong video? I grabbed the wrong video. Whoops. Okay, ignore that. So we're gonna ignore that. I think I grabbed the wrong video. Oh, I think I can just remove the mask. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Let's remove the mask. Okay. Let's do this. Let's make a mask. So let's not do a split. Let's do, so what I did is a rectangle, but you can do a brush, and what I can do is just do this. Brush me. Let's do that. I grabbed the wrong video. That's what happened. So sorry guys, I'm getting confused with all these other videos. You know, that's not bad because we don't have any other effects. Let's try that. So we're gonna let it process. I'm going to add myself to this video. So this is the one that has the window, so we're gonna put this on top. The bed's there. There you go. And so you can see if you have that problem with lighting, because honestly, figuring out your settings on your phone and everything is gonna help you, because what you want to is everything to stay the same. I'm talking about lighting, everything. And so if you have it on automatic, just know when even you being in front of the camera, I'm telling you guys, when I went into the restroom, because this harsh light in the restroom is so bright, me just going in there and creating a shadow or whatever, it allowed it changed the ISO, and then that made shadows when I was doing a mask. And so now play it and see, you can hardly tell that it's, I mean, it is edited, but you can hardly tell that there's an effect going on, which is pretty cool. And so that's the clone effect. And then, I mean, Tim, the only thing is, if you wanted to pop in the way I did, you would have to have a background. Because I think if I move it this way, oh no, actually, let's see. Yeah, you would have to have a background. So yes, so again, the background now is this video, right? Because it's the same frame. And so all you have to do is move it to the side, and then there you go. And then it would pop in. And so it should just pop in, and that's it. And there's your effect. And so hopefully that helped it. Hopefully that helped you understand it a little bit better, guys. Okay, I'm already hitting the 30-minute mark, and I do not want to push that any longer. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm gonna do more tutorials like this, and I guess more tutorials on, you guys are gonna see I'm terrible at teaching, and so I want to get better. And kind of referring back to what I wanted this channel to be about is, I don't want it to be a full educational channel. Maybe in the future, eventually I would like to pass on what I've learned. But right now, I think the main thing is I want to reiterate what I learned. Because generally again, going back to my very first video, when you are able to show someone how you did something, or put in your own words and tell them, oh, this is what I did. One, me reviewing how I did it, as you guys can see, I was stumbling and I was like, wait, that doesn't work, or what am I talking about? I generally am not an expert, not yet, you know? And so it kind of helps me, one, refresh myself on what I'm learning, and then two, get better at, you know, practicing the effects or the ability of what I'm trying to show you guys how I did it or whatever. And then also just be able to teach better, you know? That's one thing too, is being able to teach someone a skill you're trying to get better at is one way to get better at that skill, right? And so ultimately that's my goal. Right now my goal is to post every single day, and so that's another reason why I'm doing this. And so let me know how I did, guys. Please, any comments, anything, please put it on the bottom. And if you have any questions on the effects, it's something I missed, or you tried it and it just didn't work, let me know in the comments. We'll be glad to help you guys out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and keep on filming, guys. Thank you. Peace.